Hi, good afternoon. Caroline Spencer, canine behaviourist with Bella+Duke, talking how food affects behaviour. Now, this is my Tuesday, Why Does My Dog Do That? Which actually happens also to be the title of my first book. Why Does My Dog Do That? So anyway, we're going on about food and how it affects behaviour. Now, we know with children it affects behaviour vastly. And, there's been a huge amount of research and evidence in regards to children falling asleep in class, being disruptive, being unruly and what have you, after eating processed sugary foods, not sleeping at night, and generally not quite as they should be, behaviourally wise. So they're not retaining information, they're not concentrating. So when you feed your children a wholesome diet, that's with no sugars, none of these carbohydrates like rice and things that turn into sugar as well, but particularly the sugars, the behaviour change is palpable. I've noticed it in my own children. I used to work with children as well. So yeah, massive, massive difference. So this is why 10 years ago, I started to think about my dog's diet, and which is why I went on from processed onto a raw diet. I noticed a huge amount of behaviour changes in modifying behaviour and trainability, but also in their poo, in how they looked. So if they were great on the outside, I knew it was all happening on the inside as well, which is why it's so important. So food is really important for our emotional and physical health. If we don't feed our bodies properly, then our lives are going to be compromised and they'll probably be a lot shorter. Yeah, we can live on junk food, but we certainly don't thrive on it. So this is what we want to change for our dogs. Change them from a fast food, from a processed diet that's got all those sugars and other preservatives in. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the carbohydrates and sugars. Now, Rowan Sanderson taught me all this, so I'm not taking all the credit. But, the body, with the carbohydrates, the body converts starchy carbohydrates. We're talking about rice, potatoes. They convert it into sugars. And so we want to reduce the amount of sugars because, as I said before, it's well documented how sugar affects behaviour in humans, and it's definitely the same for dogs. It's rocket fuel. We experience a huge surge in energy and followed by a massive slump as the insulin is released to combat the imbalance. I don't know if you've ever had a packet of sweets and you're all high as a kite, and I know for sure half an hour later I'm crashed out. So if your dog's food is packed with carbohydrate fillers, your dogs will process these sugars and result in hyperactivity and also some slumps as well. So we're not having a nice constant being really. We look at the hydrolysed proteins as well within processed food. Now, hydrolysed is broken down proteins because when meat's prepared for the processed food, it's broken down, it's baked within an inch of its life. So the long chains of amino acids are broken down into single amino acids. So it looks nothing like meat at all. It's just dust. So these single amino acids, yes, they're more readily available, which sounds pretty stunning, doesn't it? But one that's super available and more available is one called glutamate. And that is an excitatory neurotransmitter. Which just sends your dog sky high, basically. So they lead to overexcitable behaviour in our dogs and reduced reduced learning ability. You've also got the rancid fats, because when you buy a bag of kibble, you open it and you shut it and you open it and shut it. The air gets in. And this makes the fats that have been sprayed on top of the kibble rancid and quite revolting. Now, okay, we can't smell it, but the dogs can. But also rancid fat is really toxic and it's harmful to every single cell in the body. It damages any energy production and contributes to cell aging, and also which includes your dog's brain cells as well. So yeah, let's remove those carbs and sugars. Let's remove those broken down hydrolyzed proteins and those rancid fats. The result is you will find your dog has got a longer attention span. Their learning ability is up. They retain the information far better. And generally, behaviour improves. So it's win-win. So it's a no-brainer for me why we should choose a species-specific raw diet for our dogs. Just simples. So do click on here. I'm sure you can find a 50% deal off your first order from Bella+Duke, and find so many benefits of your dogs being on a raw diet. Me being a behaviourist, that was the biggie for me to start off with, and knowing more about it now, have realised that actually just because the behaviour is better, I also realised that actually the health longevity is going to be far better as they go through life and get a bit older. So I hope that's been interesting for you. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next week on Why Does My Dog Do That? Okay, bye then guys.